We're going to step into a laying out ceremony. Had the privilege to do a laying in and a laying out ceremony for the same person, and it's a beautiful experience and a very special opportunity. I'm a life cycle celebrant. I do lots of life celebrations, and my very favorite are to be able to do a laying in and a laying out ceremony. So I want you to step in with me into this ceremony. We had the privilege of having a laying in ceremony yesterday, and you contributed your love letters, your flowers, your contributions in honor of our loved one. Thank you, Ray, for being our stand-in for this. I've been notified by the natural funeral that a miracle occurred, and that what normally takes 3 to 4 months to transform a loved one has actually occurred overnight. So we're going to be blessed with some beautiful soil that has come by way of this loved one. I'd like to begin our ceremony by inviting you to participate with me in the sounding of the Tibetan bowl. This is tuned to an A, which is the tolling pitch that's commonly used for whom the bell tolls to honor a loved one. I'm going to ring it 3 times, and it will be in honor and gratitude of our reverential remembrance of our loved one for this milestone moment, and for the family who has chosen to donate these remains for this purpose. Blessings. I welcome you to this sacred space where we've come together to pool our passion, our vision, our love for the earth, and to honor the choice this one has made in returning their earth to the earth, and to thank them for the life they lived and the life they are continuing to nourish. I'm Ben Martin, Life Cycle Celebrant. I'm with the Natural Funeral. I'm honored to be here with you today, be a part of this most reverential and watershed moment. I'd like to begin with the acknowledgement that we are guests of the unceded territory of the Cheyenne and Ute peoples. May our efforts today and in the future bring honor to these sacred grounds. We acknowledge the ancestors of this place. We recognize that we are here because of the sacrifices forced upon these people, and hope that in some small way can right the injustices heaped upon this land as we engage in our own efforts to restore this land and to restore the spirit of this land. Well, as you well know, a transformative process has taken place. All the tokens of love and esteem, all the contributions of rainbows and apples, all the heartfelt letters and thank you pictures, all the flowers of beauty that spoke to the beauty of this one we have known, and that so very loudly communicated in such reverential silence that we will not forget you. All that we included in our honoring at this laying in ceremony have, along with the body of our beloved one, been transformed. Been transformed into a life-giving mixture of rich, full of life-giving soil, so rich in the essence of this one we have loved. We now have the enhanced essence of this special one, made even richer by our love, our gratitude, our remembrances. It is right, and I dare say holy, to mark this milestone moment with a milestone to collectively build an ephemeral nature seed altar in honor of the ephemeral beauty of life, in honor of the ephemeral beauty of the life of this one we love so dearly. So I have a nature seed altar here that's particularly relevant when honoring a person as this person was, who was smitten with the beauty of nature, who loved walks and hikes and mountain vistas and ocean views, who had a passion for the care, tending of the Mother Earth. Often I'll invite attendees to go on a local walk and get into a meditative state, and on this walk find something that connects them to their loved one that they can bring back and add to the altar. Since you haven't had the, often it's done by a stream or a mountain meadow or the Colorado Burial Preserve and Cremation Garden, and it's a very beautiful ritual to engage people to participate in. Today, since we're short on time and we're in an urban space, I'd ask that in a minute you send a designated representative from your table to come with an offering for our altar, something that's on your centerpiece that's caught your eye, or a flower or whatever, and help craft our nature altar, tribute to the beauty that we've been graced to know this many years as we've known this one. I'm going to begin by lighting my center candle. So I light this center candle. To this ceremonial altar, may it nourish our hearts, fortify us with a remembrance of the light of our loved one's life. May it remind us of their light, not extinguished, but to us and through us, exponential, refracted, dispersed. I light these 5 points of a star in nod to the fact that we are made of stardust, to the Vitruvian man that Da Vinci drew, where in the shape of a star, like this. I'd like to point out that I have 7 stacked stones here representing a significant point along the path. And surely this gathering of time, this body of people coming together in passion for an honorable way to return our earthen body to the earth, deserves a center point of 7 stacked stones, symbolic prayer, gratitude, a waypoint on our way to, as we talked about, of 2053, and a waypoint for our dear one no longer taking residence in their earthen stardust container. This nature seed altar is inscribed, first has spokes made out of pine cones and inscribed in a circle of pine cones, a prickly warehouse of pine tree seeds, locally and reverentially harvested, along with some fresh sprigs of evergreen spruces, a traditional Navajo symbol of good fortune. It is a reminder of that which is eternal, evergreen, and that, of course, is love and legacy. The pine cone itself is a continuing source of continuing life. It's a power-packed, efficient warehouse of seeds. And the seeds are arranged in a tight spiral in a fascinating Fibonacci number. And it is traditionally the symbol of enlightenment, of legacy, of that which is eternal. And locked in its story of renewal is earth, wind, fire, and water. When the breath of the wind carries the pollen from the seed to seed, followed by the hot summer temperatures, or a forest fire that opens up the protective outer scales. So it releases its seeds, followed by the rains that come so that the seed can take root. So you have this compact story, the interplay of air, then fire, then water, and then roots in the earth, and from it beneficent, life-giving trees. We are here participating in the cycle of life. Dr. William Boast, my mentor and friend, said, "From out of the dust of earth and the dust of stars, unto the earth and stars return." So at this time, I'd like to call upon my helpers to open the chrysalis to be opened, and for us to bear witness to this miracle, overnight miracle, but also these beautiful vestiges of stars that are representative of our loved one. Please go forth. Blessings. In the words of Carl Sagan, the nitrogen in our DNA, the calcium in our teeth, the iron in our blood, the carbon in our apple pies were made in the interiors of collapsing stars. We are made of star stuff. So we are returning these remnants of stars to a special place, and from these stars, more continuing life and beauty to follow. I have this ceremonial soil that I'd like to add to our altar. And it's so rich and beautiful. Blessings on this essence that is part of this soil. That is this soil, not part of. And I'd like to invite you to, thank you, those of you to each table send someone up to add to our altar, if you will. Could be the person you like least at the table. It could be could be the geekiest one at the table. I know we have scientists. Thank you. Sorry. I always love to take a picture because it's so beautiful. I wonder if I can get my camera to come up. Maybe I'll do that a little later. But thank you. There's I resonate to the ephemeral beauty that is temporary, and it reminds me of the monks that do the sand mandalas that are so gorgeous, and you want them to be that way forever, and then they just wipe it away. And it's such a message that beauty, it becomes beautiful because of its ephemeralness, and that's part of its beauty, and that's the beauty of our life as well, ephemeral. So we're here to return the transformed body that was fashioned from the dust of stars, a container that was animated by our loved one's spirit to the earth. We're going to combine it with sprigs of evergreen and pine cones, which is eternal, and then the artful gifts of friends. And traditionally, we would add more soil in with our altar and be able to extend and expand. But how grateful we are for the body of knowledge, the body of experience, the body of intimacy, represented by the vestiges of these stars. Blessings on the life and love of this one who graced their days with a uniqueness all their own. As difficult as it may be, we release this one so they may know lightness of being, while at the same time we hold them close to our hearts, nourishing their soul with our love as they can become a source of continuing nourishment for life to come. In honor of the body of earth that contains us, in honor of the tears that connect us, in honor of the transformative power inherent in nature to transform and recreate life from death, we bless this commemorative moment and the beauty and the remembrance that this moment brings. I'd like to take a moment to identify some of the seeds that are already native to the soil by virtue of who our loved one was and continue to be. Seeds already planted in the hearts of those here, and some of the legacy that is to be passed on from generation to generation. Just by their choice for their body, they are leading the way for a better world. While a pioneer in life, even in their death, they are doing good things for the earth they love so much. Their pioneering spirit continues to shine through. And here are a few starter heirloom seeds that I've harvested from my interviews with friends and with families. The seed of joy for the mountains, the seed of love for the underdog, the seed of an embracive, humorous presence, the seed of love of discovery, the seed of resilience, the seed of a positive can-do spirit, the seed of humility, seed of a smile that could melt an iceberg of a heart, seed of a welcoming and big hug, the seed of love for music, seed of hiking, seed of nature, the seed of anything that had salsa and chips with it, the seed of anything sweet, the seed to make you feel comfortable, the seed of being a great hand holder. And at this time, I would ritualize and bless an imaginal seeding of this generative batch of soil, so that we would take the seeds that we saw Emily present that would be native to the Colorado burial, or we would take seeds that are going to be native to the mountain property where this soil is going back to, or to Bell Mountain. And we would take those seeds and we would mix them into the batch of the soil, because we need things to take root. And we have here these transformed remains alive with microbial life, and we're going to mix in the promise of new life with a blend of native wildflower seeds. Today is a day when these seeded, star-filled remains rejoin the cycles of nature. Certainly we're honoring something old, the tradition of returning the body to the earth, but we're also honoring something new, returning the body in such a form that it provides immediate nourishment. It is the fast lane for the body to rejoin the cycle of life. And we're honoring something timeless, the preservation of that which can flourish and reverentially restore the land and the native ecosystem and continue the cycles long after we are gone. And thus we observe seed to root, to plant, to flower, to seed, earth to bloom, to earth. The remnants of stars return to enrich the earth that once enriched and animated them. We honor the essence that once inhabited these remains. We honor the life now set in motion with a seeding of new life and new beauty. blessings. If we're tuned into the truth of the law of thermodynamics and that no energy is lost, then it follows that a person doesn't simply leave us, but that their energy is somehow transformed. That is, moved into another locale other than the human one of filling up a stardust container and animating it with sparkling eyes and a radiant smile. But where do they go? One cliche we know to be true: they live on in your heart. I love the story of Carrie's father, who was putting Andy's soil in the mason jar. And he was so overcome with the beauty of that, he started texting a friend and talking about the Andy's soil, but it auto-corrected it to Andy's soul. And I thought that was beautiful, because it was so much of Andy's essence that was in that jar and are going in. And I believe that there is a unique essence here, and it's like the scent of cinnamon, or cloves, or rich earth, or as we heard earlier, the scent of gardenias. Physicists would have us understand that the energy of our loved one is still with us. And I think we've heard testimony to that. And I don't think anyone in this room would contest that. But perhaps the transformation that occurs in our death is a dispersal of our essence, and it can inhabit places and dimensions we have yet to understand. In physics, there's this demonstrated mystery of quantum entanglement. A team of scientists won a Nobel Prize this year for proving what Einstein was called a spooky phenomenon and didn't want to believe, but has been proven, in which two particles, having interacted with each other, are forever inextricably connected by an unseen energy, each responding to the other precisely and instantaneously. In principle, you could put these two particles at either end of the galaxy, and this one moves and this one responds instantaneously, which defies the law of the speed of light. So it can only be that everything is energetically connected. So perhaps, maybe this is my poetic license, the word love is just our everyday word for something understood by science to be entanglement. And we continue to pulse in an energetic synchrony with each other, even beyond when death do us part. And as we are experiencing, death is a great mystery. And when it occurs, it leaves us no choice but to find a way through our grief to say goodbye. And life is a great mystery. And we're given just a short time to find a way to live our best life. But perhaps the greatest mystery of all is love, and how it can inform us, change us, transform us, and how it is immutable and forever. Perhaps it is an unseen energy that entangles us, keeps us connected, no matter how far apart or how transformed our energy might be. Its great mystery is that it can span both the mystery of our life and of our death. I'd like to end with a Ute prayer and then the sounding of the bowl. The Ute prayer goes, "Treat the earth well. It was not given to you by your parents. It was loaned to you by your children. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children." As I strike this bowl 3 times, let's take a moment of prayerful gratitude as we honor the love and the mystery in this moment. And at the end of the sounding of the bowl, let us carry with us the image of the cycle of life and the power of love that does not die, but lives on in the hearts of those who loved this one and who were loved by this one. Blessings. I'm going to take a moment to blow out our light. And typically take the light of our loved one from this sacred place and move it into the sacred place of our heart. I thought I would share with you just some final remarks. So this completed the laying out ceremony. But I've had several ahas through this conference journey with you. And it occurs to me that there's hidden gifts and unintended blessings, if you will, that come with body composting or terramation that's different than any other disposition type. With a green burial, the body is returned to its final resting place. And it seems more to me like an object, like a noun, an event. You layer on some dirt, you say your final goodbye. It's there and done. With body composting, it's more like a verb. It is actively at work from day one and is a symbol of transmutation and continuity, as the laying out ceremony gives it continuity that is not only telegraphed with a body burial, but it connects with the continuity of life when it's returned to earth. This body composting verb is a transformational verb, a process, not an event, and can in mysterious ways correspond to the verb of grief that's taking hold in those closest to the one who has died. And just as the first months of the process are intense and a spike of all the microbial activity then goes through a curing process, which things settle down. And that final part of the process completes. And I think there's an equivalent transformational process that can take place in the grief, where there's an early spike of shock, sometimes anger, confusion, hurt, real sadness that occurs at the laying in ceremony, especially if it's an unexpected death, and settles over time into a curing process. Doesn't go away. When the time for the laying out ceremony arrives, the family's in a different place, but given the gift of another very tangible touch point to honor and to remember their loved one. And then the resulting soil gives us a very tangible way of seeding the future with our loved one's legacy, both physically and metaphorically. Their transformed remains can nourish the earth as their memory can be as nourishments to our hearts. It offers a method at death more aligned with how an environmentalist, our lover of the earth, had lived. So would only follow to be able to offer an eco-friendly way for an environmentalist to be taken care of in their death. Death has so much to teach us about life, and I love that this way of disposition comes with so many built-in lessons for us to build upon. I'm grateful for all the pioneers in this room and for where you are taking us. It's beautiful. And I'd like to end with a poem of mine. It's called My Uneasy Teacher. So sit beside me, my teacher, my friend. Teach me the intoxicating drink of the time now left me. You've been living with me for all these years, but I've managed to keep you buried in that unfinished room of mine, where I keep hidden what I am unprepared and unwilling to face. I think it's time. I think it's time that I unbury you. It's time that I welcome you. It's time that you freely walk about the dreams of my day as well as my night. It is time I make my peace however easy with your abiding presence. So sit beside me, my teacher, my friend. Teach me the intoxicating drink of the time now left me. Already you take my breath away with a dangerous sense of joy, already with a precarious sense of wonder, already an enraptured sense of beauty. So sit beside me here, my teacher, my friend. Teach me the intoxicating drink of the time now left me. Because of you, I savor the time now left me to thrill to the wild plum blossoms in the canyon, to the critters' mud prints from the night, to the song of robins flirting in the trees, to the burst of crabapple buds splayed against the sky, to the splendorous love of husband with beloved, father with child, grandfather with grandchild, friend with friend. So sit beside me, my friend and teacher. Teach me the intoxicating drink of the time now left to me. I welcome your reminders that make precious the time granted me, that point to a love that will survive me. So sit beside me, O death, my uneasy friend and teacher. Teach me the intoxicating drink of the time now left me. Thank you.
Gene, I think we can take the slides down now, or the outer screens. And what is that Alexis? Thank you for the gift of your attention and your participation and your curiosity and your time and your commitment to learning more about this thing and growing it in your hearts. Thank you for the gift of the person who allowed their body to be here and who in just a few moments is going to be placed into containers and sent to Willow Farm and the Colorado Burial Preserve and to Half Moon Farm. And if I could, I'd like to ask Dan and Vicki to just come up for just a moment. I'd like to thank the entire Natural Funeral team who every single day does things that are so extraordinary that I dream in vivid color about what the next day might look like. And I know that you all dream that way too. And I appreciate you leaning toward the beauty of the future and the promise that not just NOR holds, but this level of curiosity in our hearts. That's where the promise is. And my call to action is, Ben brought in the noun versus the verb. My call to action is that this conference is a spark, and that you don't leave here, you go to where you're headed, and you carry that spark with you. And my invitation is that you stay connected with us in any way that we can be supportive of you. I hope that I've reiterated enough that there is not a competitor of ours in this room. You're all partners. You're all a part of our ecosystem. And I want to go back to the very beginning of this, and I want to say you can reach out to us for connection and support in your funeral journey, and you can reach out to us for connection and support and love. If no one has told you yet today that you're an amazing human being, and that the curiosity that is in you is needed by someone tomorrow, then I want to tell you that right now. And I want you to know that you are treasured and you're loved. And I want to send you with blessings, and you're invited before leaving to inspect this soil in any way that you want, including touching it. And I just wanted to bring Dan and Vicki here because they are my partners in this in every way, and just have been so fundamental to making this thing happen. So thank you to all of you. Go in peace. We love you, and there is nothing you can do about it.